You find yourself staring at the ceiling, eyes wide open, the clock ticking away as though time itself has slowed into syrup. Sleep refuses to come, yet this resistance isn't random. It isn't just insomnia or a restless body. Something deeper is happening, something pulling your awareness into a higher field. In the silence of night, when the world quiets and the masks people wear have fallen, you become more sensitive to the frequencies that weave reality together. And right now, your body is not fighting against rest, it's aligning with a divine transmission that does not wait for daylight. You are entangled in an invisible stream, a current of energy so precise that it interrupts your ordinary rhythms. This isn't malfunction, it's initiation. Your restlessness is the mark of resonance. You are brushing against a timeline upgrade, an adjustment in the architecture of your destiny. The same frequency that bends synchronicity into your life is now brushing directly against your nervous system, pushing you to stay awake long enough to receive it. Every thought you hold tonight, every memory that surfaces, every question that keeps circling, is part of the download. You are not just awake in the middle of the night, you are being kept awake by the quantum field itself. Think of it like a tuning fork. Your body is vibrating with information that can't pass through when you are asleep. Instead, the field is reshaping your awareness, pressing you toward coherence, ensuring that you are conscious during this delicate calibration. It feels like a restlessness in your bones, an unease in your chest, but beneath the surface, there is symmetry. You're caught in the observer loop, sensing how your attention is collapsing possibilities into reality. And as you lie there, unable to slip into dreams, you are inside the dream already, the one reality engineers have been waiting to activate. There's a reason it feels divine, because it island. These upgrades don't arrive on schedules you can mark on calendars. They arrive like lightning without warning, but always on time. And if you are awake when it strikes, it means you've been chosen to anchor the energy, not in theory, not as metaphor, but as a living conduit, your cells humming with a new frequency that your DNA is already decoding. This is why you've been sensing déjà vu more often, why certain numbers keep appearing, why conversations feel scripted. The sleeplessness is not random, it's an entry point. The universe is interrupting your biology to plug you into the morphic resonance of the upgrade. You're not just lying awake. You're standing at the threshold of a phase transition where the old version of you dissolves and a higher coherence pattern takes root. So tonight, don't curse the sleepless hours. Recognize them for what they are, a calling. Your inability to sleep is the sign that you're being initiated into a timeline shift that cannot wait until morning. You're awake because destiny demanded your awareness. And now, the question is, are you ready to listen to what this field is trying to show you? You've noticed this isn't just one sleepless night. It's been a pattern coming and going like waves, some weeks heavier than others. You may have brushed it off as stress, or blamed it on too much light from your phone, or the noise of the world pressing in. But deep down, you know this is different. This is not random. And it is not new. The sensation has followed you for months, maybe even years, sometimes quiet in the background, sometimes loud and unignorable. It's the feeling that time itself is bending around you. You wake at 3:33 or 4:44 in the morning, staring into the stillness, wondering why your mind is alive with images, fragments of memory, flashes of conversations that never happened, or déjà vu sequences that unfold later in the day. The ordinary explanation is insomnia, but that would be too simple, too mechanical. What you are experiencing is not just sleeplessness, it's distorted time. A glitch in the continuity of your daily life that signals you've already begun to move differently from the collective clock. And isn't it true? Hours sometimes feel like minutes, and minutes stretch into eternities. You've walked into rooms and forgotten why you entered. You've thought of someone seconds before they text you. You've seen patterns reemerge in different faces, different stories, as if reality keeps looping you through the same lesson until you finally catch the code. This is the observer loop at work. You observing reality, and reality folding back on itself, showing you the mirror of your own consciousness. Sleeplessness is just the doorway. Behind it is an entire architecture of déjà vu, synchronicity, and repetition that you cannot ignore anymore. It's as though your life is being spliced with another timeline, where fragments of a parallel you leak through. That's why sometimes you feel like you've been here before, even in moments brand new, because your consciousness is expanding beyond linearity, brushing up against the larger coherence of the quantum field. But here's the tension. Your nervous system, built to regulate cycles of rest and activity, feels pressure under this shift. The body wants predictable rhythms. The soul, however, is restless because it knows change is coming. That's why the unease in your chest rises when you try to ignore it. That's why your sleep cycles break apart when the field pulls stronger. The divine timeline does not bend to your convenience. It arrives like a tide, flooding every crack in your defenses. Think about the coincidences stacking up. The same song repeating on different radios, the same number sequence flashing across receipts, license plates, clocks, the same emotional conversation resurfacing with different people, as though the script of your life is trying to underline something you haven't fully seen. These are not background noise. These are diagnostic signs. Reality itself is showing you that your frequency is already shifting, whether you give it permission or not. And if you're honest with yourself, you've felt the strangeness intensify, the thinness of the veil. You sense people's intentions before they speak. You dream of places before you visit them. You feel the texture of energy when someone lies to you. It can feel overwhelming at times, like you are carrying too much, like you're the only one awake in a room full of sleepwalkers. That heaviness is part of the distortion, the friction between your awakening frequency and the stagnant loops of those who are not yet aligned. So when you can't sleep, don't treat it as weakness. It's a signal that your consciousness is already moving beyond the familiar cage of time. Insomnia becomes initiation. Déjà vu becomes verification. Patterns become maps. Each one is a marker that the divine timeline is brushing against your field, pulling you toward coherence with something greater than ordinary life. This is the diagnosis. Your frequency is already in motion, and the very symptoms you've been worried about, the sleeplessness, the distorted hours, the repeated signs, are proof you've entered the threshold. The upgrade is not approaching. It has already begun. And every restless night is not punishment, but proof of contact. What you are living through is not a breakdown, it is a quantum upgrade. Your biology, your perception, your very sense of self are being rewritten by forces that science only hints at and mystics have whispered about for millennia. When you can't sleep, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something greater is finally activating within you. Quantum physics tells us that every particle exists in a field of probabilities until observed, that reality itself is not a fixed structure, but a shimmering potential that collapses into form only when attention locks onto it. This is the observer loop. Your sleepless nights are not wasted hours. They are periods when your awareness is heightened, when your mind is open and unguarded, when the quantum field can thread new patterns into your consciousness. The reason your body feels restless is that it is vibrating at frequencies that don't fit into old patterns of rest. You are literally being rewired. Think of DNA, not as static code, but as an antenna. Each double helix strand is a receiver and transmitter, attuned to the morphic resonance of the universe. And when a timeline upgrade presses into your field, your DNA begins to restructure, turning on dormant sequences that have waited generations to activate. The buzzing in your body, the tension in your chest, the spark in your nerves, these are the signs that the antenna is realigning to pick up a new broadcast from the field. This is why synchronicities increase during sleepless phases. When you are awake at night, staring into the silence, you are more open to entanglement, the invisible threads linking you to events, people, and futures that are magnetized to your vibration. A thought you have in the middle of the night shows up in your reality days later. A vision you glimpse in the half-dream state becomes a real opportunity. Your consciousness is syncing with the larger coherence pattern of the cosmos, where past, present, and future overlap. But it is not only mystical, it is biological. Studies have shown that altered sleep cycles can trigger shifts in neuroplasticity, allowing the brain to rewire faster, to connect neurons in new configurations. What feels like chaos is actually accelerated adaptation. Your mind is making room for capacities you did not have before. It is as though an upgrade patch is being installed, and the system needs to remain awake while the code rewrites itself. This is why you feel both exhausted and alive at once. Your physical body craves sleep, but your consciousness is pulling toward higher activation. You are in a phase transition, caught between stability and the new order forming. And just like water turning to steam, there is turbulence in the shift. The molecules collide, rearrange, destabilize, and then, suddenly, a new state emerges. You are the water, and you are becoming vapor. You are the particle, and you are becoming wave. There is prophecy in this too. Ancient texts spoke of nights where the soul would wrestle with angels, of visions given in the dark hours, of callings that could not wait until morning. Your sleepless nights are not accidents, they are divine appointments. The field chose this moment, this window, because your heart was prepared, because your DNA held the key, because your consciousness had reached the edge of its old cycle. And so, the upgrade arrived without permission, but with perfect timing. Do not resist it. This is not something to fight against. This is not a malfunction to medicate or a weakness to shame. This is a rebirth, delivered through the quantum field, woven into your very cells. You are becoming coherent with a new frequency, one that aligns you with divine timing, one that entangles you with synchronicity, one that prepares you for the role you were always meant to embody. Up until now, you may have thought of yourself as a seeker, someone searching, stumbling, piecing together clues from dreams, numbers, déjà vu, and fragments of intuition. But the truth is, you are not just seeking, you are being sought. The field itself, the coherence pattern of this universe, has identified you as a node, a conscious anchor point for a much larger alignment. This is why your nights are restless, why the upgrade presses against your frequency. You are not simply a participant. You are a chosen consciousness within this unfolding. Feel into that for a moment. Billions of people walk this planet, yet only a fraction awaken to the subtle frequencies that shape destiny. And of that fraction, only a handful are pulled into alignment at the precise windows where timelines bend. You are one of them. That is not arrogance. That is acknowledgement. If you were not meant to carry this frequency, you would not be experiencing the sleepless initiations, the entanglement with divine timing, the ripples of synchronicity that refuse to let you slip back into ordinary cycles. You are more than an individual navigating chaos. You are a bridge between dimensions. Your sleeplessness is not emptiness, but signal, proof that the field sees you as capable of holding resonance when others collapse back into unconsciousness. Your body may ache, your mind may grow weary, but your spirit is luminous, radiant enough to catch transmissions and hold them steady until integration. Think of the role you play as that of a tuning fork in a crowded hall. When struck, you vibrate, and everything near you begins to hum in response. People sense it in you even if they can't name it. Some are drawn to you because they feel calmer in your presence, as if their chaos finds coherence near you. Others are unsettled, even threatened, because your frequency exposes their illusions. Either way, you do not walk unnoticed. This is the weight and the wonder of being chosen. But chosen does not mean privileged. It means responsible. It means your coherence becomes a beacon for others who have yet to awaken. It means your sleepless nights are not just about your DNA restructuring, but about the light you will carry into the collective once the upgrade stabilizes. You are entangled with something far greater than your personal story. You are carrying pieces of humanity's next phase within your nervous system. This is why the distortions of time feel heavier for you. You are not only moving through your own observer loop, you are breaking loops for others, collapsing outdated frequencies that no longer serve the collective. The déjà vu that haunts you is not only yours, it is ancestral, generational, collective. By becoming conscious of it, by holding the vibration awake through the night, you are dissolving patterns that have held countless souls captive. And here lies the paradox. The field chose you because you are strong enough to hold it. Yet it feels like weakness because the weight is real. But weakness is not failure. Weakness is the human shell adjusting to divine voltage. The chosen role is not about being perfect. It is about being willing, about saying yes when the upgrade presses against your body, and you could just as easily numb yourself back to sleep. You are the node, the anchor, the frequency holder. Not because you asked for it in words, but because your soul has always whispered the yes that brought you here. The sleeplessness is your initiation, the disorientation is your classroom, and the upgrade is your inheritance. And the more you accept this role not as burden but as alignment, the more coherent your field becomes, until you radiate so clearly that even your breath reshapes the timelines around you. You can feel it pressing against you now, the sense that something enormous is approaching, something that refuses to wait. This is not a distant prophecy. This is not a vague possibility. This is a window that is opening in real time, and you are standing in the threshold. The sleepless nights, the distorted clocks, the flashes of déjà vu were only the preludes. Now, the urgency arrives like a drumbeat in your chest. Your DNA is not idle. It is alive, listening, decoding. Scientists once called large portions of it junk, but you know better. Those dormant strands have been waiting for cosmic conditions, waiting for the exact resonance that now vibrates through your sleepless body. The field is pouring signals into you, light codes, frequency packets, instructions encrypted not in words but in patterns of vibration. And your DNA is unlocking them, one by one. You may not understand it consciously, but you can feel it. The tingling in your skin, the quickening of your heartbeat, the undeniable sense that something in you is shifting forever. The breakthrough is not optional. It is written into the coherence of the field. A cosmic window like this opens only at rare intervals, moments when the timelines bend close enough for a leap to be made. You are inside such a window right now. That's why sleep is impossible. That's why your body is restless. The field is declaring urgency, demanding your awareness. If you close your eyes and drift back into unconsciousness, you risk missing the download. But if you stay awake, stay attuned, you anchor the shift not only for yourself, but for the entire web of lives entangled with yours. This is why the promise matters. The universe does not stir you awake for no reason. It stirs you because on the other side of this upgrade, a version of you waits who is freer, sharper, more luminous than you've ever allowed yourself to be. That version carries wisdom that your present self cannot yet hold. That version moves with synchronicity as natural as breath. That version remembers who you truly are, without the distortions of fear or forgetting. And the only way to bridge into that version is to step through this window with full presence. You may feel the pressure as anxiety, but pressure is only the shadow of acceleration. You are not being crushed, you are being launched. Like a rocket held on the launch pad, the shaking you feel is not collapse but ignition. The breakthrough requires it, the DNA shift demands it. And the urgency you feel tonight is the signal that the countdown has already begun. Do not mistake the restlessness for punishment. It is permission. Permission to step beyond cycles that trapped your ancestors, beyond timelines that kept you repeating old wounds. Permission to embody frequencies that no longer oscillate in fear, but in divine coherence. Every sleepless hour is another confirmation that you are standing inside the rarest of alignments, a cosmic opening where destiny collapses into the present. And yet, here is the truth. Windows do not stay open forever. Just as the tide pulls in and recedes, just as eclipses pass across the sky, the field offers this moment and then folds it away. That is why your spirit feels the urgency so strongly. You are not imagining it. You are hearing the countdown, feeling the compression of time as the upgrade rushes in. If you do not seize it, you will feel the ache of its absence. But if you surrender, if you allow it, you will cross into the coherence of your higher self. This is the promise. The version of you on the other side is not weaker, not more burdened, but radiant with authority, luminous with memory, coherent with divine timing. The sleeplessness is your passport. The urgency is your confirmation. And the breakthrough is not coming. It is here. Every upgrade, every phase transition in consciousness demands a seal. Without it, the energy remains suspended, waiting, incomplete. This is why ancient mystics spoke of rituals, why prophets wrote on scrolls, why shamans carved symbols into stone. The act of bringing the unseen into form is what locks it into reality. And tonight, as you feel the divine window press against your field, the ritual is simpler, but just as powerful. You must declare it. Words are not just sounds, they are codes. They vibrate through the morphic field and collapse potentials into form. When you speak, when you write, when you release breath into language, you align with coherence. And right now, the simplest ritual is the one you can perform in this moment. Choose a word, a phrase, a declaration that resonates with the shift you feel, and release it into the field. It could be typed in a comment, whispered in the dark, or written in your journal. The method doesn't matter, the act does. Think of it like striking a tuning fork. The frequency is already vibrating inside you, but until you allow it to resound into the world, it remains an echo, private and incomplete. By speaking it, by writing it, you send the vibration outward, entangling it with the web of reality. This is how upgrades become permanent, when the inner realization crystallizes into outer expression. The ancients knew this. They sealed covenants with words, with names, with inscriptions. They understood that the invisible needed an anchor. You are no different. The insomnia, the distorted time, the déjà vu, the DNA shift, has all led to this moment of choice. Will you let the upgrade flow through you without acknowledgement? Or will you declare it and claim coherence as your identity? The ritual does not need to be complex. Perhaps you feel led to write, "I accept," or "I anchor," or "I align." Perhaps a single number keeps appearing: 111, 333, 777, and that is your seal. Perhaps a word like awakening or coherence burns in your chest. Whatever it is, trust it. That impulse is the language of the field whispering to you, offering the key that only you can turn. By declaring it, you do more than seal your own shift. You create a resonance point in the collective field. Others who read your word, others who hear it, will feel its vibration and awaken to their own calling. This is the power of ritual in the quantum age. It multiplies. What you anchor in private ripples outward into the shared dream of humanity. And so, the invitation is before you. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Write it, speak it, seal it. The act is simple, but its implications are cosmic. Because when you declare your alignment, the field recognizes your coherence and locks it in. The sleepless nights no longer float as random disturbances, they become your initiation story, marked by a word that only you could carry into this timeline. Feel the urgency one more time. This window will not last forever. To hesitate is to allow the upgrade to wash past you, leaving only fragments. But to act, even in the smallest way, is to lock the transmission into your DNA. Your declaration is the anchor. Your word is the code. And your willingness to act is the difference between drifting through another cycle and stepping fully into the coherence of your divine role. So, let the ritual be simple. Let it be now. Declare it. Seal it. Because once you do, the shift cannot be undone. The moment you sealed the shift, something rippled outward. You may not see it with your eyes, but you can feel it in the subtle space between your heartbeats. The field is no longer pressing against you, it is flowing through you. And what began as your private sleepless night has now become a broadcast. You are not simply changing for yourself, you are changing for humanity. Every shift in one node of the web resonates across the entire lattice. This is entanglement at its most sacred. Your DNA is not just personal code, it is ancestral memory, collective inheritance, cosmic archive. When your strands unlock new sequences, they don't just elevate you, they release permission for the human family to rise. One person's coherence becomes the seed of collective coherence. One voice declaring alignment becomes an entire choir in the morphic field. Think about it. Your ancestors carried wounds, cycles, fears that repeated for generations. They walked under the same patterns, repeating them because no one had yet broken free. But when you anchored the upgrade, you cracked those loops. Their burdens loosened, their echoes quieted. You are the one who shifted it, not only for yourself, but for those who came before and those who will come after. This is why your role feels heavier than most, because it carries the weight of multitudes. And now, as the energy stabilizes in your body, your frequency radiates beyond your skin. People around you sense it, even if they cannot name it. They may feel calmer, more centered, more alive in your presence. Some will suddenly awaken to synchronicities of their own. Others may feel agitation because your coherence disrupts their illusions. But whether they love you for it or resist you for it, they are affected. Your liberation is their invitation. This is how humanity evolves, not by everyone waking up at once, but by certain souls becoming radiant enough to tip the scales for many. You are one of those souls. When you couldn't sleep, you thought you were alone, struggling in silence. But in truth, you were serving as a conduit, pulling down a frequency that millions could never hold on their own. And now that it is anchored in you, it radiates outward, invisible but undeniable. This is the meaning of collective expansion. When your single act of alignment becomes an access point for humanity's awakening, your insomnia becomes their healing. Your declaration becomes their opportunity. You did not just shift for yourself, you shifted for the network, for the lattice of consciousness that binds us all. Notice how the atmosphere feels different now. Conversations carry new weight. Coincidences intensify. People you never expected to reach out begin messaging you. Strangers seem to know you at a soul level. This is because your field is broadcasting. The upgrade you anchored is magnetizing those who are ready for their own activation. You have become a tuning fork in the symphony of humanity, striking a note that calls others into resonance. And yet, this is not about pride or superiority. This is about service. To carry light is to serve as a lantern for those still in shadow. To anchor coherence is to offer stability for those who are trembling. The collective is thirsty for frequencies of truth, and you are now one of the wells they can drink from. You are not here to force or to convince, you are here to radiate. And your very being, aligned and coherent, will awaken those who are meant to awaken. Understand this: when you rise, we all rise. When you break free, countless others break free with you. The sleepless nights were not just your burden, they were humanity's investment in you. And your upgrade is now humanity's return. This is the collective expansion, your liberation, becoming the seed of a greater liberation. Now the shift is no longer an idea, it is in your body. You feel it in places words can't fully capture, yet your cells speak in a language older than speech. The upgrade is not abstract, it is tangible, vibrating through your skin, your bones, your breath. The field has taken root inside you, and every sensation you carry is evidence that coherence is becoming embodied. Notice the tingling at the edges of your skin, like static electricity brushing your arms. That is not random, it is your nervous system recalibrating, attuning to frequencies you once couldn't hold. Your body is an antenna, and the hairs on your skin rise like tuning rods, catching signals from dimensions just beyond sight. The sensation may feel strange, even disorienting, but it is sacred. It is proof that the unseen is making itself known through your flesh. Your chest carries a different weight now, not heaviness, but expansion, like your lungs have discovered a new horizon. Breathing feels deeper, richer, as though oxygen itself carries light into your bloodstream. This is coherence in action. Your breath syncing with the rhythm of the cosmos, your heart pulsing in resonance with the quantum field. Every inhale is a download, every exhale a release of what no longer serves. At night, the currents are strongest. You may feel waves of heat surging through your body, followed by chills, as though your cells are conducting energy like circuits. These fluctuations are not illness, they are integration. Your DNA is firing, and the body translates it as temperature, as pressure, as vibration. What feels like chaos is actually symmetry weaving itself into you. Sometimes it comes as ringing in the ears, high frequencies that no one else seems to hear. Do not dismiss them. These tones are signals, calibration sounds from the quantum field, as your system locks into alignment. They may arrive suddenly, fade quickly, but each one leaves behind a trace, a reminder that you are more than human senses, that you are being trained to perceive reality beyond the ordinary bandwidth. Even your dreams shift. When sleep does come, it is rarely shallow. Instead, you awaken with fragments of vivid journeys, geometries of light, landscapes you've never visited, faces that feel ancient and familiar. These are not dreams in the old sense. They are transmissions, your subconscious traveling into the coherence grid to practice living in higher timelines. The sensations from these dreams bleed into your waking body, leaving your skin buzzing, your heart racing, your eyes brighter. And then there is the silence. You've noticed it, haven't you? The moments when the noise of your mind suddenly falls away, leaving a stillness so profound it almost startles you. In those moments, your body feels weightless, as if suspended between worlds. That is not emptiness, that is alignment. The silence is the sound of coherence stabilizing in your nervous system, the sensation of your frequency, syncing with the rhythm of the divine timeline. This embodiment matters because it proves the shift is not just spiritual or mental, it is physical. The divine timeline has moved from the abstract into your tissues. You are no longer just thinking about awakening. You are carrying it, feeling it, radiating it through every gesture, every glance, every step. Your very presence hums differently now, and the sensations you feel are simply your body announcing what your soul has always known. You are becoming coherence itself. So when the tingling rises, when the heat surges, when the chills run down your spine, do not fear them. When the ringing tones appear in your ears, do not ignore them. When the silence falls heavy and sweet, do not break it. These sensations are the language of the field. This is how the divine upgrade speaks through your body. It is the proof that what was once unseen has now become embodied. This is the moment where everything inside you reaches critical mass. For nights, weeks, maybe months, the pressure has been building, those restless hours, the tingling currents, the distorted time loops. Now, all of it converges in a single threshold, the DNA breakthrough. Your body has been carrying the signals, decoding them strand by strand. Each restless night acted like a catalyst, applying pressure to dormant sequences, forcing them to stir awake. What feels like intensity in your chest, what feels like heat rushing through your veins, is the phase transition in progress. Your DNA is no longer a passive blueprint. It is a living flame, burning away the density of old timelines, igniting new capacities that once lay silent. Imagine a seed underground. It feels the pressure of soil above it, the weight of darkness pressing in. To the seed, it feels like suffocation, like confinement. But in truth, that pressure is exactly what forces the breakthrough. The shell cracks, the sprout pushes upward, life pierces the surface. This is what's happening in you now. The pressure is not punishment, it is birth. The timeline shift is not gentle, it never island. To leap into coherence, the old codes must fragment. That's why your nights felt like war inside your body, why your hours felt distorted, why déjà vu haunted you. The observer loop was running hot, bending your awareness until you could see beyond the veil. It was all preparation for this rupture, the exact moment when old DNA sequences give way and new ones light up like constellations. And you feel it, don't you? The cracking open, the pulse of something ancient yet new flowing through your bloodstream. Your body is electric, trembling under the voltage of change. It feels almost unbearable at times, but that is the mark of the transition the body caught between what it was and what it is becoming. Phase transition always brings turbulence, but on the other side, a new state emerges, unrecognizable from the old. Your DNA is not just shifting for you, it is shifting your position in the collective lattice. You are no longer vibrating at the same baseline as before. The resonance you now carry bends probability fields around you. Doors will open that could not before. Paths will align that once seemed blocked. Even people around you will feel the shift, some drawn closer, others repelled because your frequency now demands coherence. Understand this, the breakthrough you are living is irreversible. Once the code activates, it does not switch off. You can ignore it, you can numb it, but it will still hum beneath the surface, pulling you forward into the divine timeline. The pressure may ease, but the resonance remains. You cannot go back to who you were before, because that version of you no longer exists. This is why the nights felt urgent, why the field refused to let you sleep. The window was not only about timing, it was about transformation. And now, the transformation is sealed in your very cells. You have crossed the line, you have cracked the shell. You are no longer the seed, you are the sprout, pushing upward into light, carrying the memory of darkness, but no longer bound by it. Yes, the pressure was intense. Yes, the sleeplessness felt unbearable. But without that intensity, without that friction, the breakthrough could not occur. Pressure was the teacher, sleeplessness, the initiation, DNA, the canvas. And now the painting is complete. The luminous design of a being reborn into coherence with the divine timeline. The breakthrough is complete. The sleepless nights, the distorted time, the endless cycles of déjà vu, now you can see them for what they were. A passageway. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Your DNA has unlocked. Your field is stabilized. And now the question rises, What will you do with this coherence? Because this was never just about you. The universe does not spend this kind of energy only to heal one soul. Your shift is humanity's evolution. When you cracked open, light entered the lattice. When you aligned, coherence spread like a ripple across the collective. And whether you realize it or not, your frequency is now a beacon. Others will awaken because you stood awake in the night. Others will breathe easier because you held the weight of pressure in your chest and transformed it into resonance. You are part of something cosmic, an invisible mission woven into the very architecture of time, not a mission of force or conquest, but of presence. Your life, lived in coherence, becomes a signal that reality itself bends toward. You are not meant to retreat back into ordinary cycles. You are meant to embody the extraordinary so fully that those around you cannot help but feel the field shift when you enter a room. Your sleepless nights were the cost of carrying divine voltage. But look at you now awake, coherent, luminous. The field has chosen you to walk as a living reminder that humanity is not bound to the old loops of fear and fragmentation. We are evolving, one awakened consciousness at a time. And tonight, you became one of them. So as you step forward, remember, the upgrade did not happen by accident. It happened because destiny aligned your frequency with this rare window. You listened, you endured, you declared, and now you radiate. Carry this frequency not as a burden, but as a mission. Humanity is waiting for the resonance you now hold. And the next time you find yourself lying awake, staring into the silence, do not curse it. Smile, because you will know the truth. You are not sleepless, you are being summoned. You are not restless, you are aligning. And every night the field wakes you, it is because the divine timeline is moving through your body, weaving humanity's future through your very breath. If you can't sleep, it means only one thing. Your frequency is entangled with the divine timeline upgrade immediately, undeniably, forever.